record. And let's go over to Facebook land. See what happens here. I'm so techy, you guys. Now we're getting there. I mean, really, we're getting there. Okay.
Tim, where are you walking to?
Okay, I can see y'all. Okay.
Better sound, Tony Baroni.
I just see your head going around.
I'm just going live. I'm not putting any fancy words in here. You guys ready? Here we go. Hey guys, it's Jennie Wolek with the Wolek Group, Keller Williams Realty in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and here are all my awesome friends who are so amazing to share their time with us today. And I just took the lead and decided to be bossy on this, and I think they're going to let me. So while we're still figuring this out, let's just go ahead and get started. So today we're going to chat on, and it might just be the five of us, and that's okay because we'll still learn and grow together. So lots of agents were really wanting to know about business planning, setting up their year for success 2019. Has everyone already done their business planning with their teams already? Yeah. So you guys will have great insight to share. And I'm going to let you first, though, introduce yourself, say where you're from, what your production is going to look like this year, and then what your big goals are for next year, because I know you already set them. So why not, Josh, you're at my top left, so you go first.
Perfect. Josh Anderson, Nashville, Tennessee. Our goals for 2019 are it's right at 95 million in volume, and that's about 280 transactions.
What are you going to do this year?
We'll finish the year with 80 to 82 million and a little over 200 transactions. Nice.
Tony, why don't you go next? Oh, wait, did you say where you're from?
Yes.
Okay, good. Tony.
I'm Tony Baroni, Tampa Bay, Florida, and our production this year is going to be about 250 for about 65 million, and our goal for next year is actually going to be 300 units for about 75 or 80 million.
Man, that's awesome. Timmy, what you got?
We'll finish this year at 190 units for about 48 million, and the plans for 2019 are 300 units for about 65 million, 67.
How many? 300?
300 units. Yeah.
Awesome. That's cool. How about you, Jess?
I'm JessicaStarr from Connecticut, and we are going to finish the year probably around 42, 43 million. At just shy of 200 units, and next year's goal is 300 units at 70 million.
You guys are awesome. Well, I'm the baby realtor here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we're going to finish this year at 140. Do you guys realize since I've started hanging out with you, my production has gone up a lot? So thanks for that.
So awesome.
And appreciate you. Our goal for next year is 203 units.
Good job.
Yeah.
203.
And that's based on, it's that extra 3. It's based on our Met database getting the 12-to-2 return that we know about in MREA. So that's what that equals, 1,215 Mets. Now, I guess if that Met increases, then our number will increase.
Wait, what's the volume?
Oh, on that for 200, I don't know. We don't talk about volume here in Oklahoma.
Talk about volume. It's fine. That actually helps other people.
I don't know. I don't know. You guys do the math.
What's your average sales price?
Our team average, let's say 215,000.
Okay, so
that's a little 45 million.
45 million.
43
units.
40. You want to get specific? It's going to be 43,645.
Ah, boom.
Yeah, but she used a calculator, but okay, great. So 45 million.
Okay, so there we go. Well, why don't you guys, this is what we're going to talk about first. We're first going to talk about business planning. Then we're going to talk about the shifting market, if you're feeling one yet, if you survived the last one, and tips that you have to share with agents that may not have experienced it last time. And then lastly, humble Tony and Josh just came back from Austin, so they can share anything that they learned from the man, Gary Keller. How's that sound?
Sweet.
Good.
Okay, well, let's start with Jessica since she ended last time. Jess, why don't you share with us just a couple things that you guys had in your day and your agenda for your business planning event for your team, and what the value is in doing it this early. You know, we're still.
So I decided to finally use friends of mine that I'm blessed enough to have and have them come speak to my team, and I have them come speak to my team throughout the year too. Thank you, Tony, for being one of them so far. You guys are on my list.
Thanks for having me.
So I had Alyssa Howard come and talk to us about their client events and marketing, because this year our focus is client experience. So we're creating a heavy impact with the client experience that we're going to do this year, because we know our database is such a great source of referrals for us. And because we do experience seasonality shift big time here, and we've already been experiencing it, like the cold snap has hit, we know that the client experience events really will beef that up. So we had her come talk to us, and we had Brindley Tucker come talk to us as well.
Awesome.
To talk about the operations and the systems and that kind of thing, to really get everybody kind of laser focused on what their one thing should be and what the one thing they could excel best at too. So on top of obviously focusing on the numbers, talking about the hiring plan, to our growth plan, and you know, all that kind of thing.
Well, that's awesome. What was the big implementation from those two awesome guests?
Really, so we created a fun committee immediately after that, so that we can do the client experience event. So people were like super jazzed up about that. So I'm like, you know what, let's focus on what's going to be fun, because if we're not having fun, it's not worth doing it. So we have our fun committee. They meet once a week, and we have 2 events a month that we intend to do, one for A+ clients, one for just the general public. So, and some of them could involve vendor events, stuff like that too. Some on a smaller scale, some everybody. So we're building out that marketing plan for the year starting now to get super intentional and purposeful about it. And then a couple of us are really focusing on the expireds and FSBOs, but those right now have been like, we're calling, I mean, I'm in bold, and I'm going to have to give myself a haircut on Monday, which I'm panicking about. So I don't intend to. I'm going to get these dang listings. So
let's take a time out. Everyone that's out there watching right now that may know someone in Connecticut, anywhere in Connecticut, right?
Anywhere, even in Lower Massachusetts, we're licensed in both.
Now, here's the deal. I think short hair is really cute, and I think you would look amazing.
Obviously.
You guys see this pumpkin face? This pumpkin head? No! I'm panicked.
All right, so do your plea for send me leads and referrals right now.
Send me leads and referrals. I swear to God, we will love them like nobody's business. I am not above begging. This is my big mouth in bold stood up to try to help everybody else, because they were being quiet as church mice and no one is hitting their numbers. So the coach, I could tell, needed help. So I thought I'd take one for the team, which was foolish. So literally I said, you know, she said, well, what's your consequence if you don't hit your goal? And I said, all right, my consequence is I'm going to pay $1,000 to the competitor in the marketplace I hate the least. And she was smart enough to look at me and goes, yes, you don't care about money, and you don't care about giving it to her because she probably donates like you do. And I was like, oh. She goes, how about you cut your hair? I was like, into a pixie cut. So I might get some wings to go with my new haircut Monday if I don't get moving. So anyway, so that's why I have to stick to my commitment. I have been in here till 10 o'clock at night prospecting. I was door knocking this morning. We are calling hundreds of people, and we're doing 2 client events this month, calling around those events too, on top of FSBOs and expireds. And you know, when there's a shift, and that's how I know there's a shift, because of the insane amount of increased efforts we've had this week alone. That's what happened. So we're just going to have to do even more.
Wow. Well, thanks for sharing all that. Hey,
Yep.
Tim, what did you guys implement or, learn from your team meeting that you had?
So we always start, ours is a lot of fun, a lot of energy, but we always start from, I think, to figure out where we're going. We need to know where we've been. So we always reflect on the year that that we're in. So we looked at 2018, how many transactions, each agent per agent, how many did they contribute? Where did the business come from? We looked at the costs associated with lead acquisition. So we really dived hard into the numbers. And from there, we did some business planning. Everybody came prepared with their 411s and 135s. And so together, we basically took everybody's goals, added it up together, and put it into like our CGI calculator. And we came up with a total. And that was everybody's cumulative goal. However, the team has a goal. And so based off of average production, we figured out how many missing persons we have. And we started, we said, hey, we need this many people to hit the number of units we have. And so it was very clear what each person needed to do. They need to hit the goals and or exceed. And then we need to go find a few more talented people to hit our numbers. So.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool. I appreciate that. So did you have any fun afterwards to celebrate?
This is Louisiana. Of course we had fun. So we did some team awards. It was pretty funny. My wife had made these awards for each of the team members, and they were fun. Like we had one that there's one of our agents. He's very protective of his space, and so he got the Border Patrol Award. And everyone was painted gold, and it was fun. And from there, we went rock climbing, and then we went to a little happy hour, and so it was a fun day.
It's a lot to fit into a day. I mean, we ran out of time. That's why it's also great to do it this early in the year, because then you can still get back together before the year officially starts. Hey, I want to share with you guys, I've got Facebook Live over here, and so lots of people are watching, and Tim, your sweet wife, is as well. So,
Yes.
And Taylor is asking Tony for some spaghetti sauce.
I'm working on it.
The other cool thing that we did this year was we followed the same agenda pretty much every year, but the cool thing we did this year was to form an ALC. I think FSO teaches a lot, and so we're going to mimic the market center. I think the models and systems there's some things that are really we can implement to our real estate businesses that's been done. So we're forming our committees, and we're going to use that energy to help push us forward.
That's how we saw our fun committee, like the culture committee.
Yeah. I love this. So once again, we don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. We just use what's already created for us. Wow. Brilliant. Hey, Tony Baroni.
Yo.
All right. Share your good stuff.
So our team advance, we did in downtown Tampa. Our OP came. He's invested in hundreds of properties. So I wanted him to really speak about his story. As we've grown, he has about 10 market centers. He didn't really know our agents, and he was just an awesome guest. Came in for an hour, talked about wealth building through real estate, and shed a lot of light on us there. And we opened the retreat with my MAPS coach, Jordan Freed, speaking on really just adding value and, don't remember who dug the well. It was kind of his theme, and that was pretty cool. Just on, Gary Keller obviously dug the well for us, and Kevin Chadwick, our OP, came and talked, which he was the first to dug the well in Tampa. And, obviously all of us are team owners that have been working for many years on building the business. So it didn't happen overnight, and he really kind of talked about that, gave about 4 or 5 books that he suggested. And we do our numbers on, if you're a newer agent, and I mean newer agent being like 12 transactions or less, we plan for 24 units for that person. Mm-hmm. If you're experienced and you're a buyer specialist, we're still specialists on our team. We do 36 units. And then if you're a listing agent, we plan on 50. And then we break out all the numbers based on that, similar to what Tim said with the missing persons report, and then we figure out, okay, who are we missing to come up with this plan. So, and then of course, we went out and had a great time because that's what the Tony Baroni team does. And we went out on a paddle boat on the river. It was actually tons of fun. Went to a couple bars along the river in Tampa, and just really enjoyed ourselves.
That sounds fun. And Jess and I will be joining your team when we move to Florida, right?
Yeah, you're hired.
Oh, wait, it was Brittany. I
Passive.
wasn't invited.
Yeah, she can come too.
All right, Josh, what do you guys do?
I just want to join y'all's team as a courier or something. Like that sounds amazing. I can't one up any of that. So ours is offsite every year, and we, ours is about 2/3 of the day, and then we usually do something fun afterward. But a big piece of what we did this year was really kind of digging into our database. We go over all the numbers, similar to Tim, and then we talk about our client events and all these different things that we're going to be implementing. But I think the biggest piece that we took away was how can we add more value to our database, and how can we love on our clients more, and what does that look like, from a client event perspective. So historically, we've done about 6 client events, and anywhere from 2 to 3 of those, so about, I guess 2 to 3 of those are always happy hours. And we've kind of just said we're moving away from those and really kind of digging in more to the, just kind of digging more into the idea of bigger events. So
We should talk about the events.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I just did one. I'm exhausted from it. We did a Halloween event for Halloween. It was adult only, and we had about 150 people. And what I learned, it was just like throwing a wedding, basically, is the amount of work it was. But now we're prepped for the next time, and we're going to do that one every year. Before that, we did a top 25 referral giver party, and a big aha on this one was what we'd spend for our top 25 ended up being what we spent for 150 people, and it was still fantastic. Both events were awesome, but ultimately we can invite our whole database, and we get about a 10% return that show up to our client events generally. So that's one we're going to add every single year. And we also learned that we're going to probably have a theme this next year where, like have an 80s theme or something, 90s theme, and then people can dress however they want. Because some people I were told they didn't come because they didn't know what they wanted to dress like, so it was a lot of fun though.
That's fun. Josh, you guys have any fun after?
Yeah, we did manicures and pedicures. I was the only guy that ended up showing up. I love the scrubby stuff on the pedicures.
Okay.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It's
well,
something different every year. It's like, I know
We're gonna have to do this the next time we're together, all of us.
for sure. Well, something that I'll share that we did this year is we took a lot of time in actually watching. We're members of The One Thing with Jeff Woods and so we dove into and watched, because I'm always having a challenge of presenting to the team how to best do a 411. And why not let Jeff, the master, just teach and train the team? So we really took the time and watched through about half an hour worth of webinars of him taking us through step by step, goal setting to the now, and then chunking it down. So I really think that the team found value in that so that they could have some clarity, because don't they always get so confused and bogged down on what their 20% is, what their big rocks are. So that was valuable. And then how we did set up our goal for next year was knowing that last year we know the METs in our database, and that if they're properly touched, they should produce a 2 ratio. So instead of starting over, we're going to take the GPS we had from last year and just make it better, be more efficient in it. And so that's how we were able to set our goal for 203, which is higher than we're going to be this year. So, well, let's go into, were all of you in business the first shift round?
Yes.
Okay, so good. So Jess, we'll let you start. Are you feeling it? And what advice will you give to the others?
We are feeling, I don't know if it's around the election, it's also seasonality for us in Connecticut. And yeah, big time. It's like, and it actually started end of August, really September. We noticed that sales went down. Our market center alone was down by like 57%, which was insane. And that was September. So you figure October, November, it's going to probably follow suit to be a little bit worse than that. So yeah, we definitely feel the shift. And then what was the second question? Sorry.
And then advice that you're going to have for agents who maybe did not go through it last time.
So the last time, I was just saying this to my director of operations. The funny thing about the last time, I was at Prudential the last time, and I was a lot younger. And I remember my business just kept doubling and doubling. And granted, my numbers were a lot lower than where they are now. It gets more difficult to double when they get higher. And I remember all the agents in the office walking around, you know, it was like the sky was falling and they're complaining about the shift. And, you know, we were just at Recharge, right, Jenny? And Diana said, you know, people are focusing on the shift. They're not focusing on the activities you need to do to get out of it. And when you focus, what you focus on expands. So the more you talk about the shift, right, the more you're probably going to feel and experience it. And I remember that the first time around, and I remember thinking to myself now, you know why I didn't feel it the last time is because I just didn't even focus on it. I just focused on my activities and what I was doing. And just really, I mean, I got into social media big time, and Facebook and Twitter and all those things. And my business just kept doubling year over year when everybody else's was going down the tubes. But they were not, kind of like Blockbuster, not acclimating with the change to give you something new or see a different perspective on it. So be willing to adjust your business, adjust your sales. And when something's not working, try something different. Maybe keep doing it and add something else in. So that's what we're doing.
Love that. Anyone else who wants to go next? Just raise your hand.
I'll go. Just on the shift, you know, I was in obviously Florida then, and it was really, really, really bad. So it made it really interesting. So my advice would be, I don't think this shift or market correction is going to be anything like the last one. And I know some newer agents, especially on my team, have been really concerned about that. So I want people to get that message out there. You know, it's going to be a normal correction based on the economy, nothing more, nothing less. And I don't see the market tanking 20, 30%. Of course, no one has the crystal ball, but the experts don't necessarily think that either. And be consistent. So show up every day. I quit watching the news back in 2008, where I wouldn't be able to go to work every day.
Right.
And it's really finding a niche and dominating during that specific thing instead of doing 50 things. Just narrow it down to one or two and just become masters at it. Would be my advice.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, I know we're going to get short on time here. Josh, you want to chime in real quick on that? Do you have something?
Sure. I think you just have to, the one thing I did really well in 2006, I didn't have any money, so I just had to get really creative. And I think you just have to get really back to the basics and hit the fundamental things at a really high level. On my team, I'm realizing in the last 90 days, the market shifted. So we're having to make more contacts to set the same amount of appointments.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really kind of truly doubling down on lead generation and doing more of it to get the same, more effort to get the same output. Okay.
All right, Tim, why don't you share what you have? I'm getting
a lot of the same. I grew, but I didn't know any better. I grew through the shift, but I didn't know any better. I just showed up every day. I was the first one there. I was the last one out. I went on a lot of appointments that I didn't get. Offices were emptying out, and I just showed up, and you know, the transactions followed, and it just kept on. And that share that we grabbed during that transition, we really haven't relinquished.
Yeah.
You know, the one thing I'll tell you this morning, because we had I was on the dialer for 4 hours the other day, literally 217 calls. I talked to 20 people. That's it. And no appointments. My scripts are spot on. You know they're spot on. And it was like nothing. So we went door knocking this morning, knocked on only 15 doors, talked to 8 people, set 2 appointments. And that was an hour. So I'm like, you know what? We're going door knocking. And we left flyers and everybody, and we're getting calls back like crazy.
Wow. So got to do something different.
Yep.
You know, what I love is everybody's probably having their own shift book club as a team and rereading that book. I loved back in the old days, I had Shift on CD. I get made fun of with some of my techie stuff that I have.
Cassette?
Yeah. No, Nate said an 8-track recently. That's how. And so I would just listen to the words of that book. And so now I've got it on my Audible. And so I just really recommend to everyone watching and listening, download Shift by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan and listen to the words, because once you get your mindset around, words like, and when we internalize the language of pricing ahead of the market and you feel it and you're passionate about it, it comes across as caring about others, caring about your sellers, because you don't want them to experience what the other sellers are experiencing out there. Instead, you want to make sure that you get your home sold. All right, so I know that we really just allotted 30 minutes to spend time together. We didn't get all the secrets from Tony and Josh, so you guys keep them to yourself, and
No. I'll tell you, anyone, I'm doing my notes now, and I'll be sharing them with anyone. So if you're interested, private message me your email, and I'll share the notes from Gary Keller's mastermind, and there's some big nuggets in there.
Well, what I'd like to say is I'm seeing lots of activity over here on Facebook. It's hard for us to watch and do these things at the same time. If there's lots of engagement and an audience, we would, I'm sure, be happy to do this again another time. All in?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys so much. Have an awesome weekend. Is there anything that you want to share before we get off?
Thanks, Jenny.
Thank you.
Oh, you guys. All right, I'm turning this off. If you guys need anything,
Bye, guys.
let me know. See ya. All right, you guys rock.
Thanks, Jenny.
You have a good weekend.
You.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.